Welcome to 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed all of your New Year's celebrations. Sure, most of you guys are off work today, but the work never stops here on the channel. I finally made the transition over the weekend into my new studio. I doubt you guys can tell much of a difference, at least visually. I moved the studio from one of my bedrooms in the house to a brand new building that I had built in my backyard. I am hoping I am hoping the sound has improved. I could never get rid of that faint echo in the old studio. We have worked tirelessly over the past couple of weeks trying to echo proof this room. In all of my test recordings, the sound quality's been great. I couldn't detect any echo, but you just never know, man. We will see after today how it sounds when it's uploaded to YouTube. For most people, 2022 was a great year. It was a great year for me personally. The channel grew more in the first quarter of 2022 than it did the previous 24 months combined. 2022 was the first full year the entire country completely ignored the Fauci fungus. Anthony Fauci became so irrelevant, he just threw up his hands and gave up. He finally retired. His 50 years in government is viewed by many as a complete failure, almost rivaling the failure of Imani Jones. But don't worry, Bobo, when it comes to being a huge embarrassing failure, you are still at the top of the charts. 2022 was the year normal people finally started speaking out. Normal people were tired of their children being indoctrinated by some non-binary kindergarten teacher who identifies as a hot dog bun. Ooh, stick your woke wiener in my bun. Normal people grew tired of being told they had to change their behavior, change their belief system to accommodate Chester, the one birthing person out of every 100,000 people who thinks he can bang the oak tree and become impregnated by the acorns. For most of us, 2022 was a great year. We're expecting 2023 to be even better. But imagine my surprise when I come across an article on Yahoo Sports claiming 2022 was a monumental growth year for women's sports. Excuse me? Yahoo Sports seemingly has taken the lead from USA Today, trying to make us believe women's sports are popular, relevant. I had a viewer send me this article over the weekend. I was expecting this article to take at least 10-15 minutes for me to read it. I mean, if women's sports saw exponential growth in 2022, there should be a plethora of information needing to be shared, right? Right? This piece of propaganda took about 5 minutes to read. Not one time did Yahoo provide proof showing the growth of women's sports. At least growth here in America. Yahoo did point to the fact that revenue is growing around the world for women's soccer, but that's on the global scale. Americans, we've never really cared about what's happening around the world in sports. We care about what's popular at home. The majority of people could not care less about the growth of women's soccer in Pakistan. Now, just like Nancy Armour at USA Today, Yahoo created this work of fiction to create the fear of missing out effect. They want you to feel that you're missing out by not watching these amazing athletes in the WNBA. They doubled down on this sentiment by providing a quote from Kate Markgraf, the general manager of the U.S. women's national team, also known as the Traveling Easter Eggs, led by the purple-haired prepubescent boy Megan Rapinoe. When you go to a game and watch it live, it's like, and you leave changed. I couldn't agree more. When I'm watching the NWSL, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Where's my remote? The handful of people who attend games live, they do leave changed. They change their minds and never return. When talking about the NFL, the NBA, I often say statistics are meaningless. I know hearing this truth is heartbreaking to me at times, but stats don't give you the full story. The other night, for example, Giannis put up something like 45 and 22. They lost to the Bulls by 6 points. Stats can be easily misconstrued and manipulated, which is exactly what the mainstream media does when talking about the growth of women's sports. When talking about growth, it is important to understand what you're growing from. If the NFL sees a 5% increase in ratings, we're talking about an additional 800,000 to a million viewers. If the NBA Finals sees a 10% bump, that's an increase of over a million people. The mainstream media will tell you the WNBA dump saw a 16% increase in garbage this season. The dump hasn't seen this level of trash since 2008. The WNBA regular season, which is mainly broadcast on ABC and ESPN, averaged just 372,000 viewers, meaning they added about 60,000 new viewers from 2021. ESPN claims to be the home of the WNBA. The network claims to be all about girl power. We want to give these trash engineers more exposure. We just know cisgendered American men will fall in love with their beauty. Talk is cheap. ESPN can claim to value the WNBA all they want. The only way to determine real value in business is by money. How much are you willing to pay to broadcast live footage from the dump? Last year, ESPN paid $28.5 million to be the exclusive home of the Bearded Beauty contest. This year, Steph Curry is making $48 million. Yahoo Sports interviewed the diva of all dump divas, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, for this article. With all of this supposed growth the WNBA is experiencing, Yahoo wanted to ask the owner of the Golden Trash Can how far this growth can go. I'm never satisfied. We don't rest here in the WNBA. We want more money from ABC and ESPN to broadcast our exciting missed layup contest. We believe we are underinvested and undervalued. Undervalued? Undervalued? You haven't had a playoff game reach 1 million viewers in over 20 years. I noticed two interesting omissions in this article from Yahoo Sports. They bragged about the growth in WNBA playoff ratings. But what about the WNBA Finals? How come ratings for the WNBA Finals were not included in this propaganda? I wonder if they failed to bring that up because ratings for the WNBA Finals were down 3%. Another interesting omission was attendance. To me, this is a key indicator on how popular you are. Are people willing to pay to watch you perform? My Pelicans are in the midst of selling out every home game. Why? They provide value. People are interested in watching them play. How many people were willing to sit on plastic buckets last season watching a facial hair counting contest in the WNBA? Check it out for yourself. As you can see, WNBA attendance in 2022, lowest in the history of the league. You have one team drawing respectable crowds in Seattle. A third of the league can't draw flies to a fresh turd. Indiana is a state known for its love of basketball. Apparently, though, the people in Indiana don't love pretend basketball. They can't draw 2,000 people to home games. Yahoo also pointed to the supposed growth of the NWSL in their attempt to convince us of the growing popularity of women's sports. For the first time in league history, the NWSL championship game aired in primetime on CBS. The game aired on a Saturday night in October. College football on CBS averages between 3-5 million viewers depending on the matchup. The NWSL championship game? 915,000. Now, I'm not going to lie. That's a good number for the NWSL. Not so great for CBS, but good for the NWSL. But what about their regular season? It's easier to attract people for a one-time event, but can you maintain that level of viewership throughout the course of the season? Regular season ratings for the NWSL, believe it or not, incredibly hard to find. You would think with all of this unprecedented growth, the media would provide these numbers. I wonder, how come this wasn't mentioned by Yahoo Sports? I wonder if they failed to mention regular season ratings in the NWSL because they averaged just 403,000 viewers. That number also included ratings for the playoffs. Now, I want to circle back to something real quick while I'm thinking about it. When talking about the unpopularity of women's sports, we always hear the same excuse. Women are not given the same platform as the men. Our games are too hard to find. We aren't in prime time. It's not fair, damn it! That excuse is no longer valid. NWSL on CBS in prime time, WNBA on ABC on Sunday afternoons during the summer when literally nothing else is on television. Every season, ESPN breaks a new record by broadcasting more WNBA games. Women's sports have been given an abundance of free promotion by the mainstream media. The Challenge on MTV is one of the top 10 shows on cable. The Challenge receives zero promotion from the mainstream media. Hell, MTV barely promotes the damn show. The only promotion the show receives is from the cast on social media. Yet somehow, during a holiday week last week, the Challenge drew 551,000 viewers. Yet for some reason, with all of this free promotion, the WNBA can't draw 400,000 and the NWSL barely hits that number. The final point made by Yahoo Sports in their failed attempt to convince you that women's sports are surging in popularity dealt with name, image, and likeness deals. Nil. This is where the crux of the argument completely falls apart. Yahoo highlights Olivia Dunn, a collegiate gymnast at LSU. Olivia Dunn, to her credit, extremely popular. She has endorsement deals with clothing brands like American Eagle, over 8 million followers on social media. But Olivia Dunn is not popular because she's an athlete. LeBron James has a following on social media because he's been the face of the NBA for 20 years. Tom Brady is popular because he's the face of the NFL. Same goes with Patrick Mahomes, Zion Williamson, any male athlete for that matter. You take their athletic status away. LeBron James has 100 followers on Twitter. Olivia Dunn is popular because she's a beautiful young woman who posts bikini pictures on Instagram. Has absolutely nothing to do with sports. And look, I'm not knocking her for it. I will never knock someone for making money, but to use Olivia Dunn as an example of the supposed growing popularity of women's sports, it's just asinine. There are hundreds of Olivia Dunns making money on Instagram that can't tell a football from a hockey stick. The media continues bragging about the popularity of women's college basketball. Can you name one player in women's college basketball? Outside of Bob Griner, can you name one player in the WNBA, NWSL? In terms of television, this is a failed model. Women's sports is a failed model. Over the summer, Viacom put the Challenge on CBS in prime time. Debut episode, 2.3 million viewers. Why are we bragging about less than 1 million viewers for a championship game in the NWSL? It's nothing but a virtue signal. It's not real. It's fake success. But anyway, give me your thoughts. Are women's sports actually growing in popularity, or is this notion media-driven bullshit? I could be wrong. Maybe women's sports are becoming more popular. I just don't see it. Let me know if you do. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.